the link of my recent research interests to what we're discussing today is concerning the history cultures of the interwar period, mainly in Finland, but in whole of this region, of the Baltic Sea region and Eastern Europe, how culture and propaganda was being made and used at that time, and also some of the parallels to our day. Because I think that historians should be active in the public debate of how we can compare a different a past period in time to our own time. We must be careful, but we also must be outspoken and cold-headed. And because history is being used by society, by different actors all the time, I think historians who have the tools of the trade may be better than some other people. Not to think that we are the only ones who should use history, but to take part in it. And I've recently been thinking about and writing about how this culture of a newly independent Finland, the Finnish people and Finnish nation, was constructed during the 20s and 30s. And to very briefly sum up, I'd be interested in the narrative of national reconciliation after the Civil War of 1918, because as you know, pretty much all of the countries of this region had conflicts, but Finland had a very, kind of by definition, an internal, mostly internal civil conflict. And the winners, the white Finland, the bourgeois Finland, and the losers, the red Finland, the kind of divide was stark, and it was also very stark in the memory culture. And when Finland came close to kind of an illiberal counter-revolution in the 1920s or 30s, it had no, retrospectively, it had no real political strength to really break through, but it was a serious challenge. The national conservatives took a very illiberal turn in the sense that they found internal enemies not only in communism, that was the outspoken enemy, but in the whole parliamentary system, the so-called allies of communists who basically comprised everyone from social democrats to the liberal bourgeois. And I think that in the narrative of Finnish history, this kind of dichotomy between the national conservatives and everyone else has not been as visible as it perhaps should have been. And I've written about this situation, and I think that it's interesting and important to kind of cold-headedly look what is shared between our period now and that time. Who defines the nation? Who has the right to define who is a true member of the nation? Who is somehow an enemy of this nation? And the discussion that was active in the 20s and 30s obviously took a new turn before the Winter War, when national reconciliation after 1980 was really achieved. And then we had a different kind of period after the war. But now, when the different currents of nationalism and internationalism and globalism are competing, comparisons to the 20s and 30s are again, they are here, they are being made, and it's important to kind of value them and take part in the discussion. So that's my main focus now.